I want to finish this variables and typings and syntax thing with one other very important syntax feature JavaScript ships with. I'll get rid of this reassignment here, and now I'll change something. I'll get rid of the var keyword, and instead I'll set var1 below the log here. So here I'm declaring the variable, and I can't do this. I don't have to assign a value upon declaration. And here I'm assigning the value, but I'm doing this before the variable was actually declared. So what do you think we'll see in the console? Well, we still see number. And if I change this to view the type, we see 5. So probably that is because we're not using strict mode, right? So let's copy this and head over to Blunker and paste it in here. No, it's still working here. So this has nothing to do with strict mode. This behavior here is called hoisting, and it's a special behavior JavaScript offers. Basically, you can think of the browser doing the following thing with your JavaScript code. It runs over it 2 times if you want to think of it like this. In the first time, it will just fetch all your declarations, like this one. So wherever in your code you declare a variable, the browser will fetch this. And in the second turn, when it runs over the code the second time, it will use all those fetch declarations and put them to the top of your code. So it will kind of do this. And this, of course, would be valid JavaScript either way, as we're declaring it before assigning it. So now if I run this, this still works. And it's important to know this behavior. Now, technically, of course, the browser is not running over it 2 times. It's a bit more elaborate than this, but you can think of it this way. And therefore, the code we had before with the declaration being written after the initialization will work, because at runtime, this part here will be pulled up. And that is what's meant with the term of hoisting. We can declare variables after using them or assigning a value, but technically it's not really after doing that, because it will be pulled to the top by the browser. Now, what happens if I do this? What do you think we'll see in the console? Well, now we get undefined. So the initialization here has to happen before we use it. We can't use a variable with the value it might have before it being initialized with a value. We can only put the declaration after the initialization here. So that's the initialization, that's the declaration. And the declaration may come after the initialization, but the initialization here may not come after the usage, because JavaScript has no chance of knowing if we want this value, or imagine we assign this value a second time here. So it can't just pull it up like with the declaration, because it doesn't know where it should actually put it. And therefore the position of the initialization, so when assigning a value, is important, the declaration is not. That being said, for variables, it is a good practice to either define it in one step, so do this like we did before, or at least have the declaration before the initialization. So try to use this style, even though the other style would work. And with this, we covered a lot about variables and types in JavaScript, and these were the very basics. Of course, these basics are important, since that is what we work with all the time. We work with variables, and we need to know how the syntax works. With that, let's continue to the next part, another very important part, functions.